as I met, people like Jock Purden and Leon Russellson and Roy Bailey, but most powerful of all, and I think most political of all as well, is our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dick Gaughan.
Songs about continuity and tradition, and there's a kind of a salute to those that have gone before, including Ewan and Woody. The days and the hours swiftly turn into seasons. The weeks and the months quickly turn into years. The present is colored by memories of childhood, of heartache and happiness, laughter and tears. I've flown and I've driven long miles by the million, through desert and forest and high mountain range, through pastures of plenty and dark city byways, life on the move in boat, car and plane. 35 years of sand and playing, 35 years, life on the road, laughing at tyrants, and spitting at despots. I've danced in the footsteps of men like Tom Joad, and they called me an outlaw, and they've called me a dreamer. They said I would change as I aged and grew old, that the memory would fade of the things I had lived through, that the flash fire of youth would slowly turn cold. But I raise up my glass and drink deep of its flame, to those who have gone, who were links in the chain. And I give my soul's promise, I give my heart's pledge to outlaws and dreamers and life at the edge. See, here's to the vision that binds us together, that tears down the walls that would keep us apart. And here's to the future where dreams will be honored, the fierce flame of freedom that burns in our hearts. For the fire is still burning, the future's still calling, to follow the dream till the end of my days. Wishing's for fools, but dreams are for outlaws. Laughter's for lovers, and tears for the brave. And I raise up my glass and drink deep of its flame, to those who have gone, who were links in the chain. And I give my soul's promise, I give my heart's pledge to outlaws and dreamers and life at the edge. To outlaws and dreamers and life at the edge. Thank you.
You know, Martin and Simon, but our new special guest, please welcome Andy Irvine, ladies and gentlemen.
Lots of folks back east, they say, leaving almost every day to live their way to the California line. Crossing desert sands, they all think they're going to, so they think they're going to the Sugar Bowl, but this is what they find. The police at the court of entry say, you're number 14,000 for the day. If you ain't got that that do-re-mi, well, you better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, it's paradise to live or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi.
Home or farm that can't do nobody harm. Take your vacation by the mountains or sea. Don't swap that old cow for a car, you'd better stay right where you are. Better take this little tip from me, 'cause I read through the want ads every day, but the headlines on the papers always say, oh, if you ain't got that do-re-mi, boys, you ain't got that do-re-mi. Oh, you better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi. Yeah. Every day, and the headlines in the papers always say, oh, you ain't got that do-re-mi, boys, you ain't got that do-re-mi. But you better go back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, a paradise to live or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi. I said believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi. Keep going. Simon Edwards.
Thank you very much. By way of introduction for Andy, I have to tell you that Andy's a great Woody Guthrie fan. And when I was approached by Nora Guthrie, one of the prime candidates for collaborating with me was Andy Irvine. So I got in touch with Andy, and he was away on tour at the time, and he didn't get to play. And that was the one disappointment I felt about the entire project. Andy could have brought to that project would have been something really, really special. So please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, Andy Irvine.
Thank you very much.
Loose from McAllister Pen. It's there that he got parole. After 4 long years on a man-killing charge, Tom Joad came walking down the road. Tom Joad, he met a truck-driving man. It's there that he got him a ride. He says, I just got loose from McAllister Pen on a charge called homicide. Well, that truck drove away in a cloud of dust, and Tom turned his face towards home, and he met Preacher Casey, and they had a little drink. They found that his family, they were gone. Oh, they found his mother's old-fashioned shoe, found his daddy's hat, and they found little Muley, and Muley says they'd been tractored out by the cats. Tom Joad walked down to his neighbour's farm. He found his family, and they took Preacher Casey and they loaded in a car. And his mother says, we've got to get away. Oh, the 12 of the Joads made a very heavy load, but Grandfather Joad did cry, and he picked up a handful of land in his hand, said, I'm staying with the farm till I die. They fed him short ribs and coffee and soothing syrup, but Grandfather Joad did die. They buried Grandfather Joad by the side of the road, and Grandma on the California side. Oh, they stood on a mountain and they looked to the west, and it looked like the promised land. That bright green valley with a river running through, there was work for every single hand. They thought there was work for every single hand. Joads drove away to a jungle camp, and it's there that they cooked up a stew. And the hungry little kids from the jungle camp said, we'd like to have some too. Oh, a deputy sheriff fired loose at a man. He shot a woman in the back. Before he could take his aim again, Preacher Casey dropped him in his tracks. They handcuffed Casey, they took him to jail, but then he got away, and he met Tom Joad by the old river bridge, and these few words he did say. I have preached for the Lord a very long time. I've preached about the rich and the poor. Us working folks had better get together, or we haven't got a chance anymore. Well, the deputies came, and Tom and Casey ran to the bridge where the river ran down. But the vigilante thugs hit Casey with a club. They laid Preacher Casey on the ground. Tom Joad, he grabbed that deputy's club. He hit him over the head. Tom Joad took flight in the dark rainy night, and a deputy and a preacher lying dead. Tom ran back where where his mother was asleep. He woke her up out of bed, and he says goodbye to the mother that he loved. He said what preacher Casey said. Everybody might be just one big soul. It looks that way to me. Wherever you look in the day or night, that's where I'm going to be. Wherever little children are hungry and cry, wherever people aren't free, wherever folks are fighting for their rights, that's where I'm going to be.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, I never did get to meet Woody Guthrie. I was a young man in my teens when I discovered him, and I used to write to him when he was in hospital in New Jersey. He had this dreadful disease, Huntington's disease they call it now, and he just shook all the time, so he couldn't write back. But there were two people called Bob and Sid Gleason who used to take him out at weekends, and they would write back to me and tell me what Woody answers to my questions, etc. And Woody would encourage me and things like that. And one day, I always remember I got a copy of a mimeographed little publication called the Woody Guthrie Newsletter, and it said, on behalf of Woody Guthrie, we would like to thank, and it was kind of Pete Seeger and all these people, all famous people, Oscar Brand, people like that. And I looked forlornly at it, and then at the bottom it said, and to Andy from Woody personally. And that was perhaps the biggest buzz of my whole life. But, so anyway, I wrote this song about Woody. It has a chorus of his after the third verse. It's called Never Tire of the Road. Just a small-time country boy when I left that dusty town. Route 66 to the westward, and I hopped an old freight town. California, here I come, by the side door Pullman and the sunburned thumb. They called us Okies, low-down bums. The police on us frown. Never tire of the road, never tire of the rolling wheel, never tire of the ways of the world. Way out yonder's a calling me, and the dark road leads me onwards, and the highway, that's my code. The lonesome voice that I heard in the headset, never tire of the road. California to the New York Island, me and my guitar. And we played in many's a hobo jungle, many's a skid row bar. Standing out in the wind and the rain, that lonesome whistle is a sweet refrain when you're waiting for some old freight train that carries an empty car. Never tire of the road, never tire of the rolling wheel, never tire of the ways of the world. Way out yonder's a calling me, and the dark road leads me onwards, and the highway, that's my code. The lonesome voice that I heard in the headset, never tire of the road. Shipped on board of a Liberty ship to sail the ocean blue. We were carrying guns, TNT,
D-Day soldiers too. All of the men on board agreed with Cisco, Jimmy Longy and me, and our song rang out across the sea. You fascists bound to lose. Oh, all of you fascists bound to lose. All of you fascists bound to lose. Yes, all of you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Louder, oh yes, all of you fascists bound to lose. All of you fascists bound to lose. Yes, all of you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. Don't let them ever fool you or take you by surprise. The dirty smell of the politician and the man with the greed in his eyes. One big union, that's our plan, and the IWW's your only man. The flames of discontent we'll fan for the cause that never dies. Never tire of the road, never tire of the rolling wheel, never tire of the ways of the world. Way out yonder's a calling me, and the dark road leads me onwards, and the highway, that's my code. The lonesome voice that I heard in the head said, never tire of the road. Oh, all of you fascists bound to lose. All of you fascists bound to lose. Yes, all of you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose. It has to be louder because all fascists are deaf. Oh, all of you fascists bound to lose, that's better. All of you fascists bound to lose, yes you are. Oh, all of you fascists bound to lose. You're bound to lose, you fascists bound to lose.
Andy Irvine, ladies and gentlemen. The great Andy Irvine. This tradition that we're celebrating tonight never dies, it carries on. Fashion comes to it sometimes it goes away, but it's those part-time practitioners who keep this great folk tradition, and particularly this political folk tradition, alive. And I mention this because our next artist was actually at work this morning before we started, but you've already seen him. Please welcome again, Robb Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. And with Robb to sing his song, please welcome Dick Gaughan, Maggie Holland, Simon Edwards, Martin Barker.
This is from the William Blake Cheery Optimism, Brentford will win the FA Cup tendency of folk music. We'll rehouse the homeless in Buckingham Palace. Start at the bottom, work down to the top. Stop the city, rebuild the forest. Cancel the rent, nick all the cops. Be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Be reasonable and demand the impossible now. We'll turn all the motorways into canals. close all the older marston's down. All differences equal, systems for people, not the other way around. Be reasonable and demand the impossible now. Be reasonable and demand the impossible now. We'll string all the animals and vote for the clowns in the circus bourgeoisie, where the rich sing the blues till their trousers fall down. Then they give you the price of a nice cup of tea. Be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Be reasonable and demand the impossible now. Grow gardens and hospitals on every street, sunflowers, playgrounds and schools, where you do what you like, 'cause you like what you do, and stop the war once and for all. Be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Be reasonable and demand the impossible now. No master, no landlord, no flag, no guru, no gaulight and no commissar. Just justice and poetry and jam on it too. And when they ask who's in charge here, we all say, we are. Be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Yeah, be reasonable, demand the impossible now. No master, no landlord, no flag, no guru, no gaulight and no commissar. Just justice and poetry and jam on it too. And when I ask who's in charge here, we all say, be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Yeah, be reasonable, demand the impossible now. Oh, be reasonable, demand the impossible. Be reasonable, demand the impossible. Be reasonable and demand the impossible. And demand the impossible. And demand the impossible now. Compañeros, citizen gaughan.
This was written by somebody else who deserves to be noted in this concert. It was written by the very wonderful Peggy Seeger. Early every year the seeds are growing, unseen, unheard, they lie beneath the ground. Would you know before the leaves are showing that with weeds all your garden will abound? If you close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth, then how can you know? For seed you cannot hear may not be there, seed you cannot see may never grow. In January, you've still got the choice. You can cut the weeds before they start to bud. If you leave them to grow high, they'll silence your voice. And in December, you may pay with your blood. So close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth, and take it slow. Let others take the lead, and you bring up the rear. And later you can say you didn't know. Every day another vulture takes flight. There's another danger born every morning. In the darkness of your blindness, the beast will learn a bite. How can you fight if you can't recognize a warning? So close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth, and take it slow. Let others take the lead, and you bring up the rear, and later you can say you didn't know. Today you may earn a living wage, tomorrow you may be on the dole. Oh, there's millions going hungry, you needn't disengage, for it's them, not you, that's fallen in the hole. So close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth and take it slow. Let others take the lead and you bring up the rear, and later you can say you didn't know. It's all right for you if you run with the pack. It's all right if you agree with all they do. If fascism is slowly climbing back, it's not here yet, so what's it got to do with you? So close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth and take it slow. Let others take the lead and you bring up the rear, and later you can say you didn't know. The weeds are all around us and they're growing. It'll soon be too late for the knife. If you leave them on the wind that around the world is blowing, you may pay for your silence with your life. So close your eyes, stop your ears, shut your mouth and never dare. And if it happens here, they'll never come for you, because they'll know you really didn't care.
Ladies and gentlemen. And from a song by Peggy Seeger, we move right along. Please welcome Peggy and Ewan's sons, Callum and Neil McColl, ladies and gentlemen. With Chris Wood and Corinne Colwell. What traditional folk music was before Ewan McColl was something tidy and middle class and Edwardian and Cecil Sharp and Ralph Vaughan Williams. And what Ewan McColl did, he took the tradition by the scruff of the neck and he more or less reinvented it by taking it back to its political roots, because our folk music is the unedited oral tradition of our ordinary working people in this country. And I think that's what Ewan brought out in that tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, the McColls.
Thank you. This song that we're going to do first is a song that Dad wrote about his mum, who was called Betsy Miller, who for some reason when we were growing up called Dodo. When Dodo was bringing Dad up in the slums of Manchester, in the slums of Salford in the 20s and 30s, to put bread on the table, she'd go out charring, which is cleaning people's houses, cleaning offices. So she'd get up at 5 in the morning, work till 3 in the afternoon, come home, cook the dinner, clean her own house, and it was bloody hard graft, years in, years out. So that by the time we got to know her, when she was in her 80s, she was 5 foot nothing, 6 stone of skin and bone, with a tongue that could kill at 20 paces. And the sort of work that she did is kind of invisible. There's an invisibility about it. Nobody notices it until it's not done, which moved Dad to write this song. It's called Nobody Knew She Was There.
She walks in the cold black hour before the morning, the hour when wounded night begins to bleed, stands at the back of the patient queue, the silent, almost sleeping queue, seeing no one and not being seen. And her working shoes are wrapped in working apron, rolled in an oilcloth bag across her knees. The swaying trimmer soaks the morning, blue-grey steely day is dawning, draining the last few dregs of sleep away. Over the bridge in the roaring foul black water, down through empty corridors of steel, each of the blind glass walls she passes shows her twin in sudden flashes. Which is the mirror image, which is real? And the crouching hooded gods of word and number accept her bent back homage as their due. The buckets steam like incense coils, around the endless floor she toils, cleaning the same white sweep each day anew. And the glistening sheen of new-washed floors is fading. Their where-office clocks are marking time. Night's black tide is ebbed away on cliffs of glass awash with day. She hurries from her labours still unseen. And he who lies beside her does not see her, nor does the child who once lay at her breast. The shroud of self-denial covers eager girl and tender lover. Only the faded servant now is left. How could it be that no one saw her drowning? How did we come to be so unaware? When was it that she ceased to be her? When did we cease to look and see her? How come no one knew that she was there?
The song I'm going to sing for you is one of Ewan's songs called The Father's Song. I just found out backstage that Neil and I are the same age. And for any of you who know this song, you'll, well, whilst he was singing it to him, I'm sitting there thinking, what was my old man singing to me? There's another day gone by, son, close your eyes. Now the moon is chasing clouds across the skies. Go to sleep and have no fear, son, or your mum and dad are here, son. That's not a giant, it's just a shadow on the wall. Go to sleep, and when you wake it will be light. There's no need to fear the darkness of the night. It's nothing like the dark you'll find, son, in the depths of some men's mind, son, that defies the daily coming of the dawn. Lie easy in your bed and grow up strong. You'll be needing all your wits before too long, or you'll soon be on your way, son, fighting battles every day, son, with an enemy who's sure he owns the world. Stop your crying now and let me wipe those tears. There's no bogeyman to get you, never fear. There's no ogres, there's no witches, only greedy sons of bitches, queuing up to suck the marrow from your bones. Well, don't you let them buy you out or steal your pride. Never let yourself be used and cast aside. If you listen closely to their lying, they're trying to talk you into dying. You'll not even be too sure if you were alive. But no more talking now, it's time to go to sleep. There are answers to your questions, but they'll keep. But go on asking while you grow, son. Don't stop asking till you know, son. Then send the answers ringing round the world. Ringing round the world.
Thanks to Chris and Corinne. They're both bloody great. I was reminded by something that Callum said backstage. We were talking a minute ago, just to put a bit of the man back into the bloody great picture that was up there a minute ago. Ewan fought and struggled for the best part of 55 years of his life. For the music he believed in, and for the politics he believed in, for the people that he believed in. And as his body began to fail towards the end of the 80s, I think deep down he felt that he had in some way failed because he hadn't saved the world. It was the height of Thatcherism, the unions were being destroyed, and his body was going. And I think what's fantastic about a night like tonight is it proves that he didn't fail. And there's all these great people up here believing the same things that he believed. This is one of the songs from the radio ballads. It's called the Moving On song.
the middle of the afternoon in a horse-drawn wagon on the old A5. The 18-wheelers shook my bed. The police came and the little one said, "You'd better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift."
Lifting time in an old boat tent in a tatty field, and the farmer said, "The work's so done, it's time that you were moving on. Now you better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift."
Born on the common by the building site, the ground so rutted with trailer wheels. The people came and said to me, "You're lowering the price of a property. Would you mind being born somewhere else? Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift."
Born at the back of a blackthorn hedge, while the white war frost lay all around. No eastern kings came bearing gifts, instead the order came to shift. Oh, you better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go.
Winter sky hung with stars, one shone brighter than the rest. The wise men came so stern and strict, and served the order to evict. You better get born somewhere else. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift. Wagon, tent or trailer born last month, last year, or in far off days. Born here or 1,000 miles away, there's always men nearby to say, "You better get born in someplace else. Move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, move along, get along, move along, get along, go. Move, shift.
Where will you go?
Thank you. Corinne Colwell, Callum McColl, Neil McColl, Chris Wood. What a powerful performance. Well, we've been trying to work out how many revivers we've lived through in our careers, how many folk revivals. I think I've managed 3, but our next artist, well, he could even be into double figures now, we're not sure. He's had a great knack of going into the tradition and finding those political songs that have always been there for hundreds of years and bringing them out to people's attention. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Martin Carthy.
Stand here for a minute, if that's all right. Because when I came out for the rehearsal, I got sent back because my walk was crap. Seems to be all right. Any minute coming up behind me, if it's not there already, and it's there. That's the Waterloo Memorial. I've got lots of friends in Flanders. There used to be a great folk club scene in Flanders in the 70s and early 80s, and I used to go over there quite a lot. And that Waterloo Memorial was put together by the women in the immediate aftermath of the battle when they took this soil from the battlefield on their backs, and they made that. This is called the 18th of June. All you people who live at home easy and free from the trials of war, never knowing the dangers of battle, but safe with your family secure. Know you alongside the destruction has been sweeping the nation all round, and it never yet cut with the keenness that it did on the 18th of June. And what a sad heart and poor Boney to take up instead of a crown, a canter from Brussels to Paris, lamenting the 18th of June. It was just 5:30 in the morning, and it lasted until 7 at night. All the people stood round in amazement, for they never had seen such a sight. For the thunder of 500 cannon proclaimed that the battle was won, and the moon in the sky overshone all, recording the 18th of June. And what a sad heart and poor Boney to take up instead of a crown, a canter from Brussels to Paris, lamenting the 18th of June. All you young girls with sweethearts out yonder, go gaily and buy the black gown. 10,000 to 1 I will lay you that he fell on the 18th of June. 60,000 stout-hearted brave mortals that fell made an awful Paul tune, and it's many's the sad heart will remember with sorrow the 18th of June. And what a sad heart and poor Boney to take up instead of a crown, a canter from Brussels to Paris, lamenting the 18th of June. And what a sad heart and poor Boney to take up instead of a crown, a canter from Brussels to Paris, lamenting the 18th of June.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'm going to sing you a song by Ewan McColl, Champion at Keeping Them Rolling. It's a song which Ewan wrote in the 1950s, pre-radio ballads, but it was a programme about long-distance lorry drivers. I am an old-timer and I travel the road. I sit in my cabin and I lumber my load. My hotel's the jungle, the caff's me abode, and I'm well known to Blondie and Mary. My liquor is diesel oil laced with strong tea. The old highway code was my first ABC, and I cut my eye teeth on an old AC, and I'm champion at keeping them rolling. I've sat in my cabin, been boiled in the sun, been snowed up on Shap on the Manchester Run. I've crawled through the fog with me 22 tongue, a fish that was stinking like blazes. From London to Glasgow to the Newcastle Quay, Liverpool and Preston and Bristol City, the Polones on the road give the thumb sign to me, and I'm champion at keeping them rolling. You may talk of your soldiers and your sailors so bold. There's many, and many's the hero untold, who sits in his cab through the heat and the cold, day after day without sleeping. So watch out for cops and slow down at the bends. Check all your gauges and watch your big ends, and zig with your lights when you pass an old friend. You'll be champion at keeping them rolling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man called the Governor, Carthy.